All right, what is going on? How y'all doing out there in Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube and Atlanta Bird Gang on Facebook Live? How you doing? This is your Uncle Steve here on a Monday, a cloudy Monday here in the Atlanta area. At least it cooled down a little bit. Just a little sprinkling of rain and stuff like that. I planned on coming on today, and I said I was going to probably follow up. Um, and it's kind of a good thing I did because there were some things that I was looking at today that got a little bit of attention when they were talking about quarterbacks and the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and we'll get on that in a second. But I can't help, I have to stop for a moment because I didn't plan this, but as I'm getting on, normally when I sit here, if you all ever see me look over to this side, obviously there's a TV right here that I'm able to watch sometimes and talk to you at the same time. And on NFL Network right now, they're showing the 19, I guess it was January 1999, the great upset of the Atlanta Falcons. Right now, it looks like they're in overtime, actually. And it's almost one of those things as a Falcon fan. I have no shame in saying I watch wins over and over and over and over again. If you probably see how many times I've not only watched this game, but how many times I've watched the Green Bay Packer Atlanta Falcon game that we won in the NFC Championship, you'll probably think I'm kind of loony, but that's where I am the obsessive fan, where I go back and kind of look at these, games and just say to myself, oh man, if not for this. But this is one of those games that truly from an Atlanta Falcons standpoint was so unusual because not only did we go on the road and probably beat, these guys were thought to win the Super Bowl, even though Denver had a team that I think Denver was Denver 14-2 that year too, or were they 15-1? I know they were close, but this team lost one game that year, the Minnesota Vikings, and we went to their place. And came back. I mean, they were beating us by 2 touchdowns, and we went to their place and beat them in overtime. And I'm just trying to tell you, man, you hear the story about in Miami, they had already spray painted the end zone with the Vikings logo. True story. They had already done that middle ways because they were saying, hey, they're whooping up on the Falcons. No way they're going to come back. And the Falcons obviously came back and got the best of them. So that's a great thing. But yeah, just sitting here kind of showing my hand by coming over here. Brother Armani, what's going on? Says back-to-back days. I like it. Man, it's coming close to the season, man. And the closer training camp is in July. And am I a person that's going to zone in on every single thing in training camp? Probably not. I just make sure everybody's healthy, look out for the injury reports, hear little knickknacks about what happened, who got beat, who didn't, and things of that nature. But I'm not one of those that probably, man, Randall Cunningham had a horrible game. I'm sorry. But I'm just one of those that hope we can get through training camp with as few injuries as we can. There's always going to be one name that'll pop up. And let's just hope, one, it's not our quarterbacks, and two, it's not anybody that's key to our success this year, which is now piggybacking on to the question that I was going to ask today. Who is the Falcon player or players who could be the difference between a winning season and a losing season this year? Simple. Who do you think their success could make us great or not? So that's what I wanted to get into. But yeah, Armani, man, 2 days in a row, I said I was going to probably start jumping on a little bit more, and Actually, I'm trying to set up my Facebook so I can do more snippets. I'm sorry, not Facebook, my YouTube. I apologize. Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube, and have a few more snippets where I may not be live, but I'll just at least put some information down there. So be looking out for that as well. Rusty says was just about to message you to see if you were going live. Yeah, I know, man. I got a chance to get a few minutes today, and normally Mondays are my off day, so you probably will see it's more of a chance of you seeing me Monday than it would any other day. So I've decided I'll try my best to, you know, get into this stuff a little bit more. What's going on, Monica? How are you doing out there? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for popping in. Always good to see your quotes and things of that nature up here. Dave is talking to us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Please make sure you click on there and help a brother out and get that stuff up a little bit, and tell your friends if they are Falcon fans. You're going to talk to somebody who is a Falcon fan, but doesn't apologize for doing some criticism if they need it. But yeah, just click on there like Dave did. And my buddy False Start Falcon, what's going on? How you feeling, brother? Good to see you out there. I see you, Clayton. I see you out there. It's not Falcon related. How about those Braves? I'm trying to tell you, man. And I'm scared of how good they're playing right now. Yes, there are a couple of little flaws. I know Jansen's on the DL, but he wasn't helping us before. Hopefully, whatever they're doing with him can kind of get him right. The bullpen, which actually statistically is one of the better bullpens in the major leagues, has been kind of interesting lately. Starting pitching, I mean, dude, starting pitching has been nice. And if they can keep that up, and I think that's the thing that kind of scares me. Everybody gets into those grooves. Hopefully, by the time we get to the All-Star break, I in a perfect world, I would just want to get 2 or 3 from the Mets. The Mets are a tough team, and Scherzer's on the mound tonight. And I'm not saying we can't get to him, but Scherzer's coming back with a vengeance, and he's just coming off the EL. He's probably fresher than we think he is, and he's just somebody that scares me. But as far as the Braves are concerned, yeah, man, I'm excited, but it's just July, so let's see how this whole thing plays out. Clayton also says he says the quarterback position, and I understand why you say that, because we don't know technically who's going to be the quarterback, whether it will be Marcus Mariota or will it be Desmond Ritter. I agree. That's the most important position in NFL. In the NFL, don't get it twisted. But yeah, that's an easy one for the Falcons to say that position as well. Are there other positions that some of you are worried about, or more importantly, players that we're worried about? But I understand why you said quarterback position, because we don't know yet. So I get it. Jason, how are you today, sir? Say, I'm excited about this year. We need a new culture, new attitude, so we can shock the league. That, man, your phrasing is so good. New culture, new attitude. All those folks that just have this, morbid thought that, we had people burning Matt Ryan jerseys and just, hated him as a person and all that good stuff and everything. That's not what it is. I've likened it quite a bit to a new car. Sometimes you have your car and it's cool at first and it gets you where you're going, and certain cars last longer than other cars. This particular car happened to last a few 100,000 more miles than the other one. And it's not that we don't have affection for the car. When you're with the car for 10 plus years, of course you're going to grow attached to it, to the things you did, the way you shifted, the way you, I don't know, the way you washed it, the way you did the windows, the way you cleaned the interior, all of that. But sometimes it's just time to change. And I think in this particular case, I think it's just time to change. No disrespect to Matt as a person, but I love the fact that we can switch this thing up a little bit. Brother False Start saying, I think our success this year is predicated on defense. I am very what's the word I'm looking for? optimistic about our defense. I saw flashes at the end of last year that we could be getting better. I think everybody realized what AJ is doing on his side of the field. And I'm telling people, don't get super over the top about AJ. All these Terrell Island things, slow down. He's good, but slow down. He's not in Hall of Fame category yet. That's not saying I'm not encouraging him to even be better this year, but I'm just saying sometimes when we, put those lofty expectations, second team All Pro in a talented league like the NFL, that's a big deal. All Pro, not Pro Bowl. All Pro. That means everyone is recognizing what you're doing. Even though I did see on the list ESPN, they had him at like number 9. So that could be humbling as well, just to say, yeah, everybody isn't drinking the Kool-Aid. But I do think the defense is going to be very important to see how that works out. What's up, Sidarius? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us here on Facebook Live in the Atlanta Bird Gang. Always good to see you in the house, my brother. And Daniel says them Dodgers go sweep y'all. Daniel, don't be coming on here starting no mess now. You gonna have these folks coming for your head. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So y'all want to click on Daniel and give him the business. I have no. Are those the same Dodgers that Tyler Massick struck out 3 in a row? The same 3 Dodgers. You had to steal Freddie Freeman in order to get a little better. Are those the same Dodgers? That's just trying to see. I don't know. Clayton says, I do want to see what wide receiver is going to stand out not only on the team, but the league, other than Pitts. I like Drake London, and obviously the push is going to be on for Drake to do his thing. Look, as far as talent, I think we've upgraded from last year. I'm not trying to fool you into thinking the days of Julio Sanu or Julio and White are back. But I am encouraged by some of the potential we could have with some of these guys. And maybe it's a good thing that we have these new quarterbacks coming in because they're going to grow together. And this may be a great thing for Drake London to be able to either grow with, the throws between Ritter and him are crucial right now. Because one way or the other, I think Ritter is going to get a chance, whether it be this season, next season, or whatever. So it's important to build that bond with him. And I see Edwards coming in. Of course, OZ is back in the house. I want to see what Alden Tate is possible, what he can possibly bring to the depth of the Atlanta Falcons. Is Frank Darby going to get off social media long enough to actually play some significant downs for the Falcons? I want to see this wide receiver move, the moves we made. I want to see that work out. Hopefully it will. Rusty says, not a player, but a unit. Ifs, and it's a big if, the D line can get a pass rush. Now we have 2 top 10 corners. If AK-47 can be what he is capable of, I think the defense will take a huge leap. And also with that D-line, you just got some beef in from Goldman from Chicago. So that's obviously a plus. I'm looking at just the amount of weight that you put up there, 325. Obviously, when they list 325, that means he's 340. So hopefully he'll be able to get up there with Jarrett, Grady Jarrett, and kind of fill some positions in. But yeah, that defense is going to be crucial, man. Clayton says, I'm very excited to see what the defense is going to bring, just like Rusty. Hear you out loud and clear. The defense is going to be key. Armani says, believe it or not, my favorite game to watch is that 2013 Falcons-Broncos game where we made Peyton turn the ball over 4 times. Deku, Willie Moe, I was at that game, and I could not believe what I was seeing. Matter of fact, when he threw the second interception, because what was the other guy? Robert, who made the third interception. It was he went to the Ravens. I can't think what his name is. He was a third string kind of player. But dude, when they threw them first interceptions, and when Peyton did that, and I said to myself, "What in the mess is going on?" I said, "Peyton just throwing it out there recklessly," and then turned around in the second half and almost came back and won that game. But yeah, that was pretty good. Let me see. Oh, I'm trying to see this. Clayton says this year will definitely show what we need to do on defense with the schedule we got. And I was looking at the schedule, and I know a lot of people coming into the season. Yeah, this schedule is definitely a little bit more challenging than last year, but I say a little bit. I mean, we played the AFC North this year, and aside of Cincinnati and maybe Baltimore, and Pittsburgh and Cleveland, they're kind of going through the same things we're doing. Where they need quarterbacks, so we're gonna kind of see. You got to win. Um, you know, Chris Chandler is running this ball in overtime. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm watching on NFL. For those of you who just joined NFL Network, if you have it, they're showing the last the last drive where the Falcons were going down the field against the Minnesota Vikings and pulled one of the greatest upsets in NFC Championship history, defeating Denny Green and the 15-1 Vikings. So I apologize that I jumped ship, but I just saw Chris Chandler run for 11 yards. And for those of you who know Chris Chandler's career with the Falcons, which is played 3 games, hurt 2, that's just amazing to me. Daniel comes back, says Freddie Freeman want revenge. Yeah, right. Freddie, every time Freddie come here, you're going to start crying. What kind of revenge he want? He probably want the Braves to win. Don't even try it. So I'm just playing, Steve. It's going to be a good series either way. Mariota has a history of getting hurt, so I'm sure we'll see Ritter at some point. Absolutely. But, if Mariota comes out there and if he gives us some sustained play, some satisfactory play, I'd love to see him stay out there if he's doing well. I mean, I got to see some of these preseason games, and let's see what happens. I mean, can it, as I was saying a few weeks ago, this is probably the first time in a long time that Falcon fans are really going to be engaged in the preseason, because starting from week 1, you're going to see quarterback competition. It's not like last year when you came out there and you saw what's my boy from Alabama that got hurt, AJ McCarron, come out there and lead the show. I have a feeling that this is going to be a totally different interest level from fans. It will be interesting to see what the ratings are. I mean, the ratings are going to be decent for any football game preseason in the NFL, but it'll be interesting to see how that ends up working out. Richard, what's going on, brother? Say, I appreciate the increase in height and size across the team. Arthur talked about that a little bit last year prior to this year's draft about wanting to get a little bigger. I always listen to our cantankerous Atlanta Bird Gang guy, John Harris. And John always talks about how, especially along the lines, the defensive line and the offensive line, we've always gotten these little bitty guys that have, been across the offense. So it's nice to see them bulking up. I saw McGarry gain some weight this year. Mayfield gained some weight this year. You just see the signing we just had from Chicago, 325 pounds allegedly on the defense. So good to see, because there was a point in the NFL where people were valuing speed over just girth and bigness. And I understand, because you want to have some guys that can move. Back when the Denver Broncos were beating everybody, and Alex Gibbs, who ended up coming to Atlanta, I mean, he made a living off of fast offensive linemen. Mark Schlereth and the rest of the guys there, they weren't super huge. Even Schlereth was a big boy, but they weren't super huge. Those guys, And they were able to do those cut blocks all the time. That's how uh, Terrell Davis was able to do what he did. So, you know. Uh, Daniel says Goldman is definitely an upgrade over Tyler Davison. Yeah, and I'm telling you, if you're Tyler Davison, it's a little scary because as a second round pick, that they're kind of getting somebody in your position after 2 years. They've only given you 2 years, man. They're looking at AJ Terrell and say, "Oh yeah, you working your way up." Don't be surprised if they look at trying to give AJ an extension early. But Tyler Davis, I'm not Tyler. I apologize. Marlon Davidson, Marlon, you're on the clock, bro. You're on the clock, and that's respectfully. I know he had a lot of injuries that first year, and granted, he had the nice 1 yard pick six against Tom Brady. Let's give him that. But at the same time, man, it's time to step up. Got to step your game up, man. Got to. Robert McClain, that's who it was. Yeah, Robert McClain. Yeah, who got that third interception against Peyton Manning. And again, Peyton came back and dang near beat us. So, yeah, that was something else. Clayton said, what's the rumor about Devontae Freeman and Julio might come back? I had both on separate rumors. I think that Devontae Freeman was a very annoying troll who always puts stuff out there. I don't think the Devontae Freeman thing had any weight. And the Julio thing, again, I addressed it yesterday. 100%. I was going through my jerseys. And just I'm gonna give y'all a sneak peek just to show y'all. I have my wall, my Falcons wall over there. I'm getting ready to give y'all a little sneak of my Falcons wall. You see my Falcons wall, I have my jerseys over there, right? And I don't the white t-shirt is actually Atlanta Bird game. So yeah, that's my Matt Ryan autograph jersey there, in case y'all wonder. I have more Julio jerseys than anybody. I can't say anybody. I have more Julio jerseys than any other jerseys I have. I think I counted 7 in there of different. Got the black one, got the color rush one, got the white one, got the red one. I have the gradient one from last year that I ordered that jersey before the season started. That's actually probably a pretty good deal because he never wore that jersey, I think, because they had those jerseys coming into the year. But yeah, I just don't think we're going to go that route again. And he probably burned some bridges on the way out, if you think about it. I mean, he basically didn't give a chance for the guys to the new regime to give him a shot. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that move. I think I would keep it. False Start said, I think Marcus will be fine. I think we have done a lot worse than Mariota. Think about it. Andy Dalton, Trubisky, Brissett. Oh, yeah. I listen. Again, we're not paying him a king's ransom anyway. So for those who are, oh, man, we got Mariota. Dude, if you can't read the writing on the wall, you paid a man 2 years, $20 million to play quarterback in the NFL for your team. That's not even scrub money. You look at what they're paying Trubisky up in Pittsburgh. And matter of fact, I don't even think they're paying him $20 million. But they're paying Mariota an average of $10 million a year. And even this year, he's not even making that much money. I think next year, if they keep him, I think he makes big money. But yeah, it is what it is. Brother Mo, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you in the house. I'm trying to pull this down. Said Clayton says, yeah, look at what Brown's paying for quarterbacks. Whew. They still paying they're still paying Hold on 1 second. Uh, they're still paying Baker Mayfield. Deshaun Watson, obviously, they're paying that guaranteed contract. I'm sure somebody was talking about that the other day. It's like, oh, he's going to be on the hook for 230. Yeah, I am super positive if there was some outrageous thing where they saying that, you heard people say, oh, they're going to ban him for 2 years, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure there's some conduct clause that they have with those contracts that would allow them to get out of that. If it was the same kind of conduct clause that Mike Vick didn't have here. Do y'all remember the drama about the signing money and how Atlanta was trying to recoup the signing money from Mike Vick, but there wasn't a conduct clause in the contract, and they basically had to go to arbitration for that. And I think Mike when he signed the Philadelphia contract, I think he ended up paying him back. But I do think I do think that's what he was doing. Yeah, like I said, Watson and Mayfield. And then I wasn't pausing. I was pausing trying to answer a text real quick. I apologize. I knew exactly who I was talking about, but I was trying to answer somebody back who was trying to get in touch with me on there. But who else, man? Who else we got on the team? I'm going to name somebody, and I know people are probably going to think I'm crazy when I say it, but I think Jalen Mayfield is the key. Jalen Mayfield, say what you want to say, whether he ends up staying at guard or whether he ends up challenging McGarry on the other side, we've got to get something from him this year. Because they've really made no major offensive line moves. Yeah, you got guys from Georgia, and yeah, I get you. But that's not a 6-round picks are not. Now, we hope they turn into, key people on the line. But Jalen Mayfield, if Jalen Mayfield improves his game, if he gets his game up to snuff, it could be interesting. And we got to keep remembering that's a rookie, y'all. It was a rookie who played out of position. So I'm willing to give him a little bit of a chance because that left guard position has been something that's been hard to fill for the Falcons for the last 4 years. So I'm not going to just totally dump on him 100%. Now, if he doesn't do the job this year, then it's time to maybe use some of that money that you have next year and go out and get, Quentin Nelson-esque type guard to fill in that spot, in my opinion. Rusty says, never forget Ryan Pace is the same dude who traded up for Trubisky, passing on Mahomes and Watson. Hopefully he has no power over here. Now, I think he's on the scouting, but I think the bottom line, Terry is the last line of defense as far as that's concerned. They brought him in, but I don't think he's making any major decisions. I think he's given them some good folks to look at. And obviously he had a first bird's eye view of what was going on in Chicago. And look, the one thing you can say Chicago had, he did help bring in Khalil Mack and get them folks in place over in Chicago. So you got to give him credit for that. Now, picking quarterbacks might not have been his forte, but you have to give him credit for at least keeping the defense as good as it was. I think last couple of years they run into a couple of unfortunate injuries at the wrong time. But Chicago's defense, I still, when healthy, I'd still take them cats over a lot of teams. But I mean, now what? Khalil's moved on to Chargers now. Jeez, man, that's Chargers low key, man. I still think the Super Bowl road is going to go through Buffalo this year, but man, I like the Chargers. I think Herbert is going to be. I think he's just going to be one more year ready to do his thing. I don't be shocked if they go from not to the playoffs, possibly to the AFC championship game. I really like um, what they're doing over there. Another person that could be the difference between winning season and a losing season is the progress of Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, cold, first year in the league, got 1,000 yards as a tight end. And that's awesome. I know it was 17 games, but nevertheless, still. So from that standpoint, I think he needs to continue his growth as a tight end in the league. And I saw the little tape of him and Kelsey at the little tight end camp they had, and keep getting those nuggets from the Kelseys of the world and from the Kittles of the world and my man in Baltimore, Andrews, and people like that, and keep growing. I think Kyle Pitts is going to, now that we have receivers, and I'm not telling you all pro receivers, but I'm saying receivers that might be kind of legit on the edges, that could open up a lot of room for Kyle in the middle and truly there to do what he did in Florida. Clayton says another person I'm often thinking about is Casey Hayward, how he leads the cornerbacks. One of the moves that was kind of slyly one of the better NFL moves. You already have a burgeoning superstar with AJ Terrell, and now you add Casey Hayward, who is a very quality cornerback to the squad now. I think you got the potential to have some really good action going on in that secondary. And again, a great secondary can help everything up front. Safeties can roam a little better. Those receivers coming across the middle might not have that extra step now. Might hold up just enough for a defensive lineman to get around the block or work his way back to the quarterback. I think this duo has an opportunity to really be good. So let's hope that ends up being the case. JH is the truth, and I'm no Oregon fan or Charger fan by any means, but the kid is game. I've liked him since he was with Oregon. And I remember when he was with Oregon, and I kind of had some questions to say, yeah, he's good, but let me see. And I'm going to tell you, his rookie year, he balled out his rookie year too. He actually did. He did pretty good, but I saw some throws he's making, and he's deceptively athletic, folks. Don't just think you see big gawking white guy and assume that he's supposed to be slow, and because we've seen a lot of that here. No, homeboy got some wheels. I saw him take the edge on, who was that? Was that Denver? And I saw him take the edge on that, and I was like, oh, okay. I see you. Kind of reminds me, and this is a compliment to both of them. I think he's a much more polished Josh Allen. I still think there are, as much as Josh Allen is still, to me, maybe a top 3 quarterback in the league, I still think there are parts of his game that I would like to kind of polish up a little bit. Kind of Brett Favre-ish, if you ask me, which is not a bad thing. But as far as pure quarterback ability, and not only in the pocket, but if he sees a yard or two, not scared to take it out there. Not only not scared to take it because he get hurt, he can outrun folks. Good athleticism with him out there. And the Chargers, man, I'm telling you, the Chargers are going to be a team to be reckoned with. They are going to be a team that you're going to sit back and think. Any running backs for the Falcons that y'all think can make the difference? I still caution folks to not think you're going to get the 10 touchdowns out of Patterson this year. I think the league has kind of caught up to him. I do believe he will still be very solid for us and still give us that burst. But I would love if they could rotate those carries a little bit. I don't think Patterson is one of those guys that's going to benefit from being the heavy carries guy? Can Algiers come in and truly be worthy? I know a lot of folks have the thought that he could come in and start. I don't think he's going to start. I think CP is going to be your starter at the beginning of the year. But in a crowded running back room right now with Patterson, Algiers, who I think both of them will be on the team, but Avery Williams converted from cornerback to running back, and Damian Williams, both of those guys play special teams. So I don't think they'll keep two of those guys. And then Ollison is still hanging around from the old regime, which he knows is probably an uphill battle, but he got his opportunity last year, put that ball on the ground a couple of times. But I do think he's one of those guys that you look at and say, he ran the ball north and south last year. I like that about him. He doesn't try to usually gamble and go back and stuff like that. He's usually straight ahead. Give him credit. Christian, how you doing today? Said, what's good, Steve? How are you today? I'm curious if Marlon Davidson doesn't show out like the dog he said he is. Do we let him go or trade him? I'm trying my best to have hope for this guy. And that is a very legitimate question, Christian. We just mentioned that, how they brought in Goldman from the Bears, and I'm pretty sure Marlon Davidson saw, well, that's interesting because he plays the same position I do. I think this new regime coming in, Arthur Smith, Terry Fontenot, don't owe anybody under TD's watch any favors. As you see by them getting rid of the franchise quarterback, getting rid of the franchise wide receiver, they don't owe these guys any favors. You think about the holdovers from, that regime. It's not a lot of them left. Jake Matthews, McGarry and Lindstrom on the line. Wide receiver, there are no, OZ. Running back, Ollison, that's it. Defensive line, Grady, Marlon. I think that's it. Linebackers, Debo, who is probably on shaky ground. Isaiah Oliver. And AJ. I don't think I named 10, did I? Did I name 10 people? It's not a lot of folks, man. So, yeah, Marlon is one of those guys that I have to think is got to be thinking about his future, man. When you see them bring somebody in on that plays your position, and it's probably a little bit more veteran-laden than you are, got to think about it. Rusty says Josh Allen is a great comp for Herbert. Josh is just a little bit more mobile. Oh, yeah, and look, in NFL, mobility is going to be very important. I just like the way Herbert throws the ball. He throws the ball good. And Josh Allen, look, it's nothing prettier to see him throw that ball 60 yards in the air and come down in Stephon Diggs' arms. But I also say, I just think, and I'm not saying neither are bad, I would take either one now on this team. I just say at this second, as an overall quarterback, I give Herbert just a little bit of edge over him, but I'll take either one. The O-line ready needs to start making some strides. They better, because I think it's going to be easy to get rid of some folks this year. I don't think they'll hesitate to change it up. Rusty says, hopefully Algier comes in guns blazing. Running back is easiest position to transition from college to the NFL. Had a lot of carries last year, too. Just kind of concerned about that. Touched the ball quite a bit. I worry about that sometimes about the college players. But to your point, yeah, it's not a lot to teach about getting the ball and run to the hole. And I say that facetiously. Obviously, there is some. But, yeah, hopefully he can bring that. Christian says, I'm thinking we will let Debo go. It's just a matter of time. It's one of those things where you kind of think about it. The opportune time to let him go would have either been trading him at the draft, or at that June 1st cut when they could have cut him and saved a little bit of money. I'm thinking Debo might be here. He might be. I would be shocked because you have to have a dance partner to make the trade. Who's going to make a trade for a $9 million a year linebacker this late in the year? A trade for him. Because I think if you would have cut him, you would have already cut him. Unless they're waiting for some legal reason for him to come back on the roster instead of cutting him when he's hurt. But I tend to think he's going to be here. We still Clayton. Yeah, we still have Eric Harris. We do. They re-signed him for one more year. We do have him. I think somewhere I don't know. As they say when you go into the job, he must interview well because I didn't see what he was worth before he got hurt last year, but who knows? Jay, what's going on? I mentioned your name, so maybe that's why you poked your head in here. The yards per carry difference between Davis and Patterson was only 0.4, with a total yard difference last year of 115 yards to 6.7 yards per game. Was Patterson that much better than Davis? Yes. I don't need stats to tell me what my eyes can see. Even with 4 of them, I see that Patterson played a much better game than Davis. Matter of fact, I tell you what, you try to bring Davis back on the team and you explain to the Falcon fans that same little stat and see how far you get. You probably won't get far. Christian says, from the TD era, I say Oliver is one I like to keep around if he can stay healthy. He wasn't that bad last year. Oh, yeah, Oliver is part of the plan. He's going to be part of the plan, without a doubt. He was playing well. If people remember that second half of 2019, when we won 6 out of the last 8 games, but it was too late for us to make the playoffs because we went 1-7 the first 8. Isaiah Oliver was one of the better defensive players on the team. Then he kind of regressed a little bit in 20, and then he was playing pretty good up until his injury. And, he was good. Amani says, Herbert, that guy, his throws are just insane, even off his back foot. I watched a lot of Charger games last year, Amani, and I'm just telling you, he's that next – in the next 5 years, once the Rodgers and the Bradys and the Ryans and that generation kind of goes, you're going to hear the Herberts, the Burrows, the Allens, and the Mahomes. It's going to be those type guys. When we start talking about elite, not there yet, because with eliteness comes success. He hadn't made the playoffs yet. So until you make the playoffs, I think that's where you have to draw the line between giving him too much praise. But I think his trajectory is going up. Mike, how you doing, sir? Say, if you trade him, you'll get nothing for him now since he's had surgery. He's somewhat unproven again now. And Mike, that's a good point as well. Other teams know why he's still with the team. He's had an injury. And they also know what that contract is going to involve. That's a lot of money that they still owe Dion. So I'm just kind of surprised they didn't outright cut him. And I don't know what difference it would make now to keep him all this time. And then if he comes back and then cut him, I don't know. I think he's going to be in the plans. I think if he was going to go, I think they would have cut him back when they cut Mike Davis. I think was when the last significant player of the last era did. Rusty says DQ would jump all over a Debo trade, I believe. I don't know what Dallas cap room looks like, though. Yeah, it would. I honestly don't know. I know they got a lot of young guys on defense, paying a lot of them. I know they're still playing, what's my man named Lawrence. Yeah, that's a good question. I honestly don't know. Mike, talking about Debo, yeah. Rusty says Michael Walker is one of the most underrated players on our roster. I love that pick from the day we drafted him in 2020. He's going to continue to progress his game. Walker played good last year. Walker got that pick six too, right? Wasn't that a pick six he got last year? Yeah, I like Walker's game, and it's no secret that's a position that Dion normally would play. So I don't have a problem with that either. Yeah, Michael Walker is on the way up. John says the running back production can't be argued. The stats are there. This is one case where the eye test has to be justified by stats, even through 600 yards. What are you talking about? Yeah, I truly am. I am truly kind of kind of lost at what you're suggesting. I think I think you might be a little delusional there, brother. I think you are. All right. Here we go. Yeah, I look, if you can't see that Mike Davis, if you're gonna sit here with a straight face and tell me Mike Davis was better than Cordero or was comparable to Cordero, yeah, I got questions. I got questions. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Not at all. I think we're good at kicker, so I think we're good there. But Youngway should have some really good stats this year. Maybe we can get him to kick less field goals and more extra points. How about that? Let's do that. Let's get him to kick a few more extra points and get him in that top 10 points position. That's what I'd like to see. And cornerbacks, and we talked about it earlier. I think we're in good shape there. Still would like to get a little bit of depth as far as that's concerned. So, look, and I think our cap room, and I'm gonna check, and I'm hoping. I'm sorry, y'all know how I am. Once I start talking about something, I'm gonna start checking it out. What our cap room looks like. Atlanta Falcons. Dang, the internet is working today. All right, so $12 million, $12.4 million right now. So, and I'm gonna tell you what, if they were to, for the record, if they did cut Deion Jones, that's $24 million of dead cap space. I think next year is that year for him, and I'm gonna double check here. Is usually in the contract there's a year that you can get. Yeah, it is odd to me because they'll owe him $9 million in 2022, and then in 2023 they'll owe him $11 million. Now, if Deion comes back, has a bounce back year, that's actually a good amount for him. But this is the year that they have the potential out, but it would cost $24 more million against the cap. I think that's probably why I think they're not going to make that move now, because you don't want to sacrifice. You want that extra $12 million. And matter of fact, let me double check something here. Have they officially? Yeah, they haven't officially signed Ritter yet. You know? And I think the reason they haven't signed Ritter yet is because I think Kenny Pickett is still out there. I think Kenny Pickett, let me double check that too, because I think Kenny Pickett hasn't signed his contract. And because Ritter was the second quarterback, yeah, he's still a third round pick. But they have to figure that out because, see, it was easy last year when the five guys were picked, because you can kind of balance that in. Hold on, let me see the pick. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he might have been signed. Hold on one second. I apologize. Let's see. Nope, they did sign him. They did sign him. So yeah, that's interesting because they don't officially have his contract yet. At least they don't have the numbers yet for for him. So maybe they have signed him. Interesting. But yeah, that's gonna be yeah, that's gonna be an interesting situation to see how much money Pickett gets. Not Pickett, how much money Ritter gets. Third round quarterback, but you're the second quarterback overall pick. The agent could have a little interesting something to say about that. I'm not saying that he's going to get $2-3 million a year as a third round quarterback, but as a quarterback, mm, it could be interesting to see what kind of money they're going to throw his way. That could be very challenging. I also, as I was going on today, saw ESPN release their list of what they thought uh, are the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. So let's let's um let's go there together and see. Put this on the screen here so you all can come along with me. Share share screen. There we go. All right. Always interested to see what ESPN says because ESPN has probably more former executives and all that stuff with them than any other network. So I have to give them their due when they come out with that. So according to them, according to ESPN, uh, Aaron Rodgers is the number one quarterback in the league, according to the 50 people. I think they said they had, was it a 50 league executives, coaches, scouts, and players. They say Aaron Rodgers is the best going into 2022. I disagree with that already. I think they're living in 5 years ago. Disagree with that. Uh, Patrick Mahomes, number two. Arguably, he could be put in that top three. Kind of hard to not have him still trending as one of the top three quarterbacks in the league. Josh Allen, number three. I've already told y'all how I feel about Josh Allen overall as a quarterback. So top three, I'm not mad at that. Top four, Tom Brady. He's gonna always get, because of the 7 chips, it's hard to not put him as one of the top quarterbacks. But I saw some things last year that let me know he was 43. And just that little waffling with the retirement thing. Yeah, that first hit on Tom, I don't care how many organic hamburgers he's eating. I still think Father Time is undefeated, and pretty soon he's gonna feel that. I'm not thinking he's number 4. I'll give him an honorary top 10 position because of the 10 because of the 7 Super Bowl wins and 10 Super Bowl appearances. I don't think he's the number 4 quarterback in the league. Those are players and executives who just want to kiss up to him. Joe Burrow, number 5. I disagree. I think Joe Burrow is on the upswing. I think he's really good, and I think he's coming up. I think this is a little high for him. That Super Bowl got people twisted. He played great. He arguably was one of the great, might have been solely next to Aaron Donald, might have been the best player playing in the playoffs last year. All of that combined, I don't think that's going to make him the 5th best quarterback in the league. Matthew Stafford, number 6. Another one I disagree with. I think Matthew Stafford had a very nice run. I think he was brought into the Rams to do what he just did, make a great team better. And he did and took them to the championship, won the championship, and that's great. But you're not going to tell me that Matt Stafford is the sixth best quarterback in the league. He has achieved what 29 other quarterbacks haven't, but I still don't think that makes him the sixth best quarterback in the league. I think he's a low top 10, but I don't think six. Justin Herbert, this is the guy that I think people are sleeping on because he didn't make the playoffs. But I'm telling you, he's the next guy. He's the next guy. He's number 7. Disagree. I probably would have had him at 5, 4, somewhere in that range. Number 8, Russell Wilson. It's going to be kind of difficult because, that last year or two, he kind of probably was more like Matt Ryan. He was playing with a roster that was gashed, a roster that some of the old heads, all the Legion of Boom is gone. You had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But other than that, you didn't have a consistent running game until the end when all of a sudden my man want to try to run for 200 yards every game at the very end of the year. I think Russell would get an incomplete from me right here. I'm not sure top 10 either, but I don't know. It's kind of arguable. It's an arguable thing there, but I'm not sure if he's number 8. Number 9, Deshaun Watson, which should have a definite asterisk by it. Now, when the brother is on the field and he's finally behind center and doing some things, you're not going to find 5 more talented people in the league aside of him. So I will give him that, but it's going to be a huge asterisk by him because he hasn't played live football in 2 years. Let's not forget that either. It's not a Colin Kaepernick situation where he hasn't played for 6 years and people are ringing the bell for him to come back. But from his standpoint at 26, it shouldn't take much to get him on, to knock that rust off once he gets on the field. And number 10, Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott is a stat machine. Their offense, you can't deny what they did last year. It's kind of interesting to me that they wouldn't put Lamar Jackson up here because Lamar is probably a little bit more productive on the ground and through the air as Dak Prescott. But just my pure hate for the Dallas Cowboys probably doesn't want him to be in the top 10. But I can understand how people may want to put it in there. I think they get the honorable mention to Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, which is kind of like, I don't know about all that, and Kyler Murray. Now, for anybody that, and also receiving votes, Kirk Cousins, I found it interesting for all the people that sit here and dog out, how mean people are about our former quarterback here. I found it interesting that nobody had Matt Ryan on that list. I thought that was surprising because as many people are saying, "Oh, Indianapolis has a chance to win it all," and they'll with Matt Ryan, they're Super Bowl qualified and all that. And I don't know about all that. I'm not here to tell you that. So I just thought that was an interesting thing to see that they had him up there. But yeah, man, this is one of those times that I just feel like, yeah, top 5 quarterbacks is gonna be it's hard to figure out. It's hard, but I do believe that between Mariota and Ritter, I'm not trying to put us in the top 5, but I do think we have an opportunity to move the meter if we can, just get this team going and get the aforementioned players that we talked about moving in that direction. Anyway, I told myself I was going to only be on for an hour because I have been fascinated by summer league basketball, and my son and I have been watching a lot of it. And I'm not trying to say we're looking for the next LeBron or Curry or anybody like that, but it's cool to see the young men battle out. It's almost like a higher version of watching the USFL. We sat there and watched the USFL championship game, and as much as we sit here and easy to kind of dog out people and stuff like that. A lot of people, these are some livelihoods, so I don't want to laugh at them too much. But yeah, you want to give people their due, and these young men are going out here trying to make a team, so I give them credit. We're gonna watch that game. The Hawks play the Pelicans at 6 o'clock, so we're gonna check that out. And until then, I will let y'all go on your way. We will check y'all out next time. It's your Uncle Steve's Lounge YouTube. Check us out. Atlanta Bird Game. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.